And that is glamorous Glastonbury headliner Diana Ross there with our famous last words. My old piano, you did brilliantly well. Congratulations, all who got that correct. Zoe is coming up live from Worthy Farm. There'll be even more non-stop coverage from Glastonbury 2022 all the way across the weekend. Listen on BBC Sounds or watch on iPlayer. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 7 o'clock on Friday, the 24th of June. Good morning, this is Tina Dahealy. Boris Johnson and the Conservatives have suffered defeats in by-elections in Devon and West Yorkshire. Labour and the Liberal Democrats each took one seat. Their winning candidate said voters had sent a message that the Prime Minister's time was up. And rail passengers are to face another day of disruption, even though RMT union members are back at work. The Conservatives have suffered convincing defeats in 2 by-elections, including a safe seat where they had a huge majority. Tiverton and Honiton in Devon, which had been held by the Tories since it was created, was taken by the Liberal Democrats. They won with a majority of 6,000, overturning the 24,000 Conservative majority. The winner, Richard Ford, had this message for Tory MPs.
If you don't take action to restore decency, respect and British values to Downing Street, you too will face election defeats like the one that we've seen here tonight. It's time to do what's right for our country. You know in your heart that your leader is not the person to lead this great nation into the future.
Labour won back Wakefield in West Yorkshire, which they lost to the Tories at the general election in 2019. This report from BBC Yorkshire's political editor James Vincent.
The Labour Party arrived at this election count unsure about whether they'd be able to take Wakefield back. But this morning, with a majority of just short of 5,000, they're using it as evidence that those seats lost in 2019 are now back within their grasp. The Conservatives will say that this by-election was called for such a specific reason that it proves nothing at all. And what about those Conservative MPs who backed Boris Johnson in his recent no-confidence vote? They backed him in part because he was seen as a vote winner. Well, in Yorkshire this morning, he's not a vote winner.
The Conservative chairman, Oliver Dowden, has resigned this morning, saying someone must take responsibility. Boris Johnson, speaking to reporters in Rwanda last night, where he's attending a summit, said it was crazy to think he would resign if the party lost the by-elections. There'll be more disruption to rail services today as the effects of the second 24-hour strike by members of the RMT union continue to be felt. Talks yesterday failed to resolve the dispute about pay and conditions, and another strike is scheduled for tomorrow. With more, here's Coletta Smith.
Staff are back at work today, but it's another slow start with trains in the wrong place again. Without overnight signallers and control room staff working as normal, trains have left depots later than usual. That means just over half the normal weekday services are expected to run, with many trains not getting going until late morning. Negotiations between unions, operators and Network Rail lasted longer yesterday, but without a breakthrough, Saturday's strike looks increasingly likely. The leader of the RMT union also said that members will be consulted about further strikes if a resolution isn't reached this weekend.
The Prince of Wales is due to open the Commonwealth Heads of Government conference in Rwanda this morning. He's expected to say that it's up to Commonwealth countries, which have the Queen as head of state, to decide whether they want to remain monarchies or become republics in the future. The Welsh Government has extended the time it's giving out free lateral flow tests until the end of July because of a surge in cases. An estimated 1 in 45 people in Wales currently has COVID-19. The Chief Medical Officer for Wales, Dr Sir Frank Atherton, believes people should think about taking precautions.
We should, go back to some of those things that we know prevent transmission, so social distancing, face coverings in crowded places. I think that they should be put in place voluntarily by people acting sensibly because we know what to do now, rather than through legislation or mandates.
stargazers will be able to catch sight of an extremely rare event over the next few days as 5 planets in our solar system line up in the night sky. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn will appear in a row in what's known as a planetary conjunction, which should be visible to the naked eye. Lucy Green is a professor of physics at University College London.
The planets will differ in their brightness. So Venus is brighter than Jupiter. If you have a small telescope, then you might be able to make out some of the largest moons of Jupiter. So if you've got some kit, it's definitely worth taking it out and having a look. But binoculars might be your best bet because you won't have too long before the sun rises and the view gets washed out.
Today's weather mainly cloudy across the UK with scattered heavy showers. It will be sunnier in Scotland, temperatures reaching 23 Celsius in London, 21 in Edinburgh and Cardiff, 17 in Belfast and 19 here at Glastonbury. That's the BBC News at 7:05.
You join me in a field.
We love you, Glastonbury!
Is it the Serengeti? No, I'm in Somerset.
It's BBC Radio 2!
Live from Glastonbury Festival!
The Zoe Ball Breakfast Show!
Good morning, happy campers. Happy Friday to you all. Dear hearts, well done on making it to the end of another busy week. Almost time for Feet Up. I am currently standing in a field, not been employed as a scarecrow, out standing in his field. No, coming to you live from my happy place, Worthy Farm, Pilton, in the heart of Somerset, a place where the Evis family and an incredible team have hosted Glastonbury, the festival, the best of music, arts and culture, most years since 1970. Back after a huge break due to the pandemic, it could be the best Glastonbury yet. We're bringing you a little taster of some of the treats from Glastonbury this morning. Tina and Richie will be with me. Our winners, Nick and Jane. We'll catch up with Melanie C, the Pet Shop Boys, Basil Brush, our Glastonbury favourite, and we'll have live music from Blossoms. Let's kick off with this king.